Hello, it is Sunday, the 23rd of November 2025. You are watching Sunday Sermon on Politics Social. I'm Graham Hughes. Nice to have you with us. In the chat, we've got Peter Music, Diz, we've got Miss Paula Thomas, we've got Ruth in there as well, we've got Graham Price, we have got Billy Kershaw and Viper Scott and Harry Flashman. Hello, and others. Hello, everybody. If you would like to join our beautiful friends in the beautiful chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button, which I'm going to just transfer over to the screen. There you go. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and we'll all have cake. So today we're asking, is Nigel Farage a Russian asset? Yes he is. Okay, that's just a short show, wasn't it? So I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock for Morning Brew. My name's been Graham Hughes, and hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Oh, I need to do more, don't I? Okay, let's talk about Nigel Farage. Nasty Nigel Farage, the proprietor of Refuck UK Limited. Just really a grim bunch of people, a grim bunch of toffs who are convinced they're not the elite, although you know they went to elite public schools, they traded with elite people in the city of London, they converse openly with elites from around the world, most notably from countries like, I don't know, Russia, Saudi Arabia, those countries that for some reason they want us to be more like. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed how these people who are on the internet, right? Like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and Andrew Tate and Charlie Kirk. Oh no, he's not on the internet anymore, is he? For some reason. But that lot. Have you noticed how they are just? If they were Muslim, what would the Daily Mail be saying about them? They'll be saying, look at these misogynistic mad mullahs. They would call them mad mullahs. That's what they would call them. If these were Muslim people on the internet saying this vile misogynistic shit, this anti-Western democratic, just women-hating, violent rhetoric, and talking about women's places being in the home and how, we're being taken over by woke lefties, do-gooders. We don't want that. We just want do-badders. That's what we want. Have you noticed that? It's funny that, isn't it? If they were Muslim, what would the newspapers be saying about? What would the newspapers be saying about Donald Trump and Nigel Farage if they were Muslim and coming out with the shit they come out with? Nigel Farage saying that women shouldn't be allowed to have abortions, and wanting to privatise the NHS. Could you imagine? Anyway, getting off the topic a little bit here, we're going to talk about why Russia targets the UK. Well, this has been a core strategy of Russia since 1997. So this predates Farage. This predates Putin. At the time that Russia set its sights on disrupting UK public, the UK public as we know it, and British values, disrupting British values, started with the publication of a book called The Foundations of Geopolitics by a guy called Alexander Dugin, which I've spoken about on this channel before. All you need to know about this book is it was a handbook to get Russia from being this former Soviet nightmare, this basket case where people had to queue for a bit of mouldy potato each week in the freezing cold, to being a world power again. And it had lots of helpful suggestions like invade Georgia, invade Ukraine, take back Crimea, foment insurrection in the US of A, by pressing on certain pressure points that already exists. Like, I don't know, race relations. How about that? No, Adobe, I don't want to reset my computer. Go away. And also, one of the things it says is to break the UK away from the rest of Europe. This was 1997, right? 28 years ago. Break the UK off from the rest of Europe. Anyway, since 2014, Russia's core strategy after they invaded Ukraine, after they invaded and annexed the Crimean Peninsula, has been to weaken NATO, to fracture the EU and destabilise Western democracies. And this has escalated, since the annexation of Crimea, but also since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The UK was seen as a critical pillar of NATO and a leading pro-EU voice. And Brexit was directly advanced. Brexit, objectively advanced Russian objectives by removing one of the EU's largest military and economic powers, the UK. The UK Intelligence and Security Committee, the ISC, concluded in 2020 that Russia saw the UK as a top target for political influence operations. Any political actor pushing for a weaker EU, fractured alliances, and Western unity would be objectively, again, this isn't an opinion, okay? This is just objective fact. They would be serving Kremlin interests. Just like anyone saying, hey, let's burn all the oil we can, is objectively serving Saudi Arabia's interests. Because they have an economy that is based 90% on filthy, dirty, foreign gloop, slime that they drill out the ground and try to use that money to create horrible things and to enslave people to build their football stadiums. Whether knowingly or not, anyone you meet who says, oh, I don't believe in net zero, oh, I don't believe in this climate change lark, is working for the Saudi Arabians. Are they getting paid for doing that? I don't know. Just like anyone who says Brexit's a great idea is working for the fucking Russians. Whether they're getting paid for it or not. They're not working for the UK. They're not working in our better interests. They're working for the fucking Russians. Nice. Dickheads. Are you getting paid? No, well, shut up then. Liam, thank you very much for the first super chat of the evening. £2 super chat. All I want for Christmas is Farage to go to prison. Oh, yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? That frog-faced bastard in jail. That would be so good. I'd buy that for $1. Hey, that's just reminded me, Liam. I should set up a goal, a super chat goal. And if we get the goal, we'll have some confetti. Should we do this? Should we do this, Diz? Yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Right, so I'm gonna set the goal. Don't do it just yet. Just give it 30 seconds. But thank you very much. Everyone's saying hello to each other. God, everyone's so nice in the chat. Would you like to join the chat? Just hit the subscribe button. Just hit the subscribe button and you can join the chat. You can, join the sermon. Join the sermon, Isn't this great? This isn't a one-way conversation. I'm not just standing in front of a bunch of people going blah, 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 blah. You're allowed to discuss stuff amongst yourselves while I'm talking. How good is that? And you can ask me questions as well. If you add a super chat to it, you're more likely to get me to read it. But there you go. Chris C. It's not just the Saudis, Graham. A lot of American oil producers are also vastly interested in scrapping net zero targets. Yes, that's very true. But if we say, we're doing things to benefit America, it doesn't sort of cut through to the same people like when you say, we're doing this for Saudi Arabia. What you want to do is say the Arabs, because that cuts through even more. The Arabs were doing this for the... Okay, you're doing that for the Arabs. Okay, cool. I mean, they are, and you're tapping into their latent racism by calling people from the Arabian Peninsula Arabs, but it works. It works. It shuts them the fuck up when they're going, oh, I like polluting the planet. Oh, I like burning coal. I like burning gas. I like burning filthy oil and getting oil all over my clothes and having it drip out the bottom of my car. I love it. You say, okay, well, benefiting the Arabs, benefiting the Kuwaitis, the Emiratis, the Qataris, the Bahrainis, the Saudi Arabians, clearly. Not benefiting us at all, because we, unlike Saudi Arabia, unlike Norway, we don't have a sovereign wealth fund from the fucking oil. They do. Nice of us to help them with their sovereign wealth fund, you know, that thing that we don't have. When we sell our oil to ourselves, our oil, we don't get a discount because it's sold on the international market for international rates. We don't get any frequent flyer miles for the oil in the North Sea. Just saying. Anyway, so So the first red flag about Nigel Farage and being a Russian stooge was in June 2018. He publicly cited that he had never met the Russian ambassador. However, it was soon found out that the Russian Foreign Ministry website contained a photo of Farage meeting the ambassador, Alexander Yakovenko, in May of 2013, in somewhat would call the run-up to Brexit. Yakovenko was later honoured by Putin with the Order of Alexander Nevsky in 2019. A diplomat reported Yakovenko as saying, "We have crushed Britain to the ground. They are on their knees." I'm sure it's a coincidence. Am I just thinking the worst of people here? Is that what I'm doing? Am I looking at these privately educated toffs and just assuming that they're wrong-uns? Like they assume that about us? You know, or about asylum seekers or trans people or single mothers or Irish people or, I don't know, whoever they decide that the wheel of misfortune is going to spin around and land on today. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But it does seem a bit odd, doesn't it? Does seem a bit too coinky-dinky. Little bit too coinky-dinky. I think so. Liam, thank you very much for the second super chat of the evening. Thank you. Farage is a traitor. Trump is one of the enemies. Abso-fucking-lutely. And we talked on Friday about this deal that the US have put together. This deal, which is basically a surrender deal, where Europe surrenders 1/5 of Ukraine to a monster, to an absolute fucking monster. So there you go. No, Graham, you're just asking very valid questions. Thank you very much, Chris, for validating my, request for validation of these valid facts that I am making validly. It's like I'm like a shit V for Vendetta. Do you like that? Anyway, the meeting took place just before Russia pivoted to a policy of actively disrupting Western unity, which happened in 2014. So Farage met in 2013, and then this active, because Russia had been undermining Britain for years beforehand, but they switched to an active, less covert, more open program of just, treating Britain like a bunch of fucking idiots. Like a bunch of fucking idiots. And, why would Farage lie about this? Easy mistake to make. Why would Farage lie about this? Unless the truth was damaging, unless the truth that he had met with the Russian ambassador before Brexit, before Russia pivoted to being overtly hostile to the United Kingdom, effectively declaring war on us, which they've been in for the last 11 years. A lot of politicians don't seem to realise that we've been at war with Russia for 11 years now, and we're doing fuck all to foment insurrection against Putin over in Russia, which we should. We should just fund that. We should fund that shit. We should fund all these bots writing horrible things about Putin and what he does with his poodle all over the internet. That should be a thing. We should be talking about the fact that, he's had loads of plastic surgery. And now he looks like Sean Connery in that Bond movie where he gets made Japanese. Yeah, maybe we should talk about that. Bit racist, like, but, that was the 1960s. Spies were all the rage. Anyway, so and as a former spy, I guess that's where Putin cut his teeth. So anyway, then Farage, after meeting up with the Russian ambassador in the Russian embassy in London, he then went on to appear on something called Russia Today, as we knew at the time as RT, a state-controlled Russian broadcaster. And all these motherfuckers who are whining loudly about the BBC right now, have you noticed? Have you noticed all the whinging motherfuckers? They never whinged about Russia Today. They fucking loved it. Half of them were on Russia Today every other fucking day, including Nigel Farage. He appeared repeatedly on Russia Today, this state-controlled Russian broadcaster, and RT has been officially designated a foreign propaganda outlet by multiple Western governments, including our own. Russia Today amplified Farage's speeches as an MEP and promoted pro-Brexit messaging because that was in the interests of Russia. RT also reportedly offered Farage his own show after the 2016 referendum, being paid by a hostile state's media outlet while pushing policies that benefit that state against our own. It represents a clear conflict of national interest, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? I'm just laying it out. I'm just telling you what happened. This as our friend James O'Brien is never gets bored of saying, this isn't opinion. It's just counting. I'm just recounting what happened in the past. This Farage fucker met up with the Russian ambassador. Then he pushed for Brexit. He was appearing on Russia Today every other fucking day. He was getting paid for it. He got tens of thousands of pounds from Russia Today, effectively from the Russian state, from the Russian taxpayer. What were they paying him for? To split the UK. Because don't forget, that motherfucker didn't just split us from Europe. He split so many families and friendships and just so many relationships that many of us have built up over many years. And yet we came down on different sides of the Brexit debate. And he knew it would do that. He knew it would be divisive. And he sits there counting his fucking money, braying it to himself as rich public school fucking educated twats like himself do about how much carnage he caused in this country. He split families up. Dad's having to move back to Germany or Spain. Mum's having to go back to Italy or to France to maybe take the kids. There were, Skype dads, Zoom dads. So the only time they got to see their dad, it's not because the parents got divorced, but because their spouse wasn't earning enough to have them living in this country after Brexit, after Farage's Brexit. He did that. He's got enough money. He's a fucking millionaire, mate. He can afford to have his wife and his mistress live here. He did. One angry pagan has dropped a super chat in the super chat fund, which is very exciting. Thank you very much for the super chat. NCA report says our street criminals are funding Russia. That doesn't surprise me at all. And Tim Ballum says, look at the National Crime Agency are taking over from the Met. It does indeed. And Kirsty McTeer says, there is a petition up on Russian meddling. There is indeed, friends. And what I'm thinking of doing right now is I'm going to send you the link to the actual parliamentary petition that Kirsty is mentioning there. There we go. And if you want to click on that, you will be taken to the parliamentary petition page that you can sign. It's had less than 10,000 signatures. And at the moment, it's got more. It's just had a bump. It's just had a bit of a bump in the last couple of days. That's good, isn't it? So it's got 11,465 signatures. We need a lot more. Call for a public inquiry into Russian influence on UK politics and democracy. So there you go. I back this message. Please sign this petition if you're able to, and don't forget you've got to get on your email and put it back. Right back to them and say that you actually exist. But there you go. Something else that happened this weekend, by the way, when you look about foreign interference, Twitter decided to put on all of their accounts where the account was first registered. Because normally it's just if you have your location set on and it'll come up as your location in the actual tweet. But this was where it was first registered. And so many Trump accounts are registered in Russia, Nigeria, Albania. Yeah, check it out. It's absolutely fascinating. So yeah, I put the link in twice, and the second time I put it in, I actually put the call for a public inquiry into a Russian influence on UK politics and democracy, which I do want everyone to sign. Kirsty's coming. I'm sorry, Kirsty. It's been a long weekend. Graham, can you post it in the comment section, please? So Simon, yeah, I'll do that, but not while I'm streaming, because it'll just be me looking at my screen here, going click, like your nan, tech nan, pressing the buttons one by one. I won't be able to do it like a smooth, sexy way, hang on, actually, I might be able to do it in a smooth, sexy way. Let me just see if I can do it in a smooth, sexy way. So while I'm talking to you, I'm editing the description. And I'm just adding this link, which I'm going to have to, oh my God. Oh, sorry. It's got two parts, obviously, because it's got the title and the actual URL. There we go. Yes, I've added it to the description. It's not in the comments. It's in the description now. So if you refresh this page, then, yay. Okay, let's get back to the question of whether Farage is a puppet of Putin. Is he a puppet of Putin? Along with Trump, along with Murdoch, along with that. Who's that other twat in America? The one who went over to Russia and did a whole thing about how he loves Russia. He went to like a Russian supermarket and he's like, "Wow, you can get potatoes here." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, dickhead." He was on Fox News, but then he was kicked off. Tucker Carlson. Privately educated, of course. Anyway, so we've also got we've got Russia today. We've also got Arron Banks, who had Russian contacts during the Brexit campaign. Arron Banks, the biggest donor in British political history at the time. He gave $8 million to Leave.eu. He met with Russian officials repeatedly in 2025, 2026. Court evidence that was brought up in the case that was brought by Banks against Carol Cadwalladr in 2022 identified meetings on the 6th of November 2015, the 17th of November 2015, the 19th of August 2016, and the 18th of November 2016. And Justice Stein said this was probably not the full extent of their meetings. It was just the ones that they could gather evidence of. Topics discussed included privatization deals in Russian gold and diamond firms. Banks also funded Farage personally from 2018 to 2017. With Farage's £4.4 million London home, his bodyguard, his chauffeur-driven car, his office space, and US trips. Farage claims ignorance despite Banks being his key financial lifeline and campaign backer. So we've got either negligence here or complicit. Both are unacceptable for someone shaping our national discussion, our national destiny, on the consensus in this country is being shaped by Farage, and the guy is a fucking Russian asset. How much more fucking evidence do you need? Well, let's go on about the fact that he had these, the connections with Russian intelligence and the Clinton hack. Farage's connections in 2016, Russian GRU, which is I think it's the sequel to the KGB or something. The GRU officers were indicted by the FBI for hacking the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, right? During this period, Farage attended the Republican National Convention in Cleveland in July 2016. He had a private dinner with Roger Stone, who was later convicted over that particular investigation, and also Alex Jones. You know the guy who said that the kids who died in December 2012 in Sandy Hook, that they didn't really die. They were just crisis actors, and it was all a myth. And he subsequently got sued by the parents of the dead children for millions, for absolute fucking millions. The fact that that guy isn't in jail for the rest of his life blows my fucking mind. Stone publicly hinted at a forthcoming October surprise concerning Clinton. And in March 2017, Farage was photographed leaving the Ecuadorian embassy where a certain Julian Assange, no friend of the left, was living, the man who published the hacked material, which possibly helped Donald Trump, Russia's greatest asset, into power in 2016. Meanwhile, Farage was asked about this, and he said he couldn't remember why he was there. Yeah, I thought, officer, I might have murdered all those prostitutes, but I can't remember doing it, so does it really count? Said Jack the Ripper. No explanation has ever been given for these contacts, despite their proximity to a Russian hacking operation. And then we've got Steve Bannon, Trump, the Russia alignment. Steve Bannon encouraged Farage's rise in early 2011. Bannon co-founded Cambridge Analytica, which harvested voter data used in the Brexit and Trump campaigns and lied to people, micro-targeted them. It asked them, do you like a cup of tea? And then they sent them messages saying that the EU was going to take away their cups of tea. Genuinely, this fucking happened. I'm not exaggerating here. This is what Cambridge Analytica did. They found out people who were concerned about the death of polar bears due to global warming and sent them a picture of a polar bear on a melting block of ice saying that the EU wanted to kill all the polar bears. They genuinely did this. This is something that they fucking did. Went into their Facebook. And because a lot of older people are very, very credulous, it's not their fault, it's because of all the lead in their brains. And not all boomers have lead in their brains. They do all have lead in their brains, but some of them have more lead than others. I don't know. But because they are living in a constant state of flight or fight, because they are in fear all the time, because of all the lead in their brain, which somehow, because of some mad chemical reaction, makes people who have a lot of lead in their brain just live in perpetual fear of absolutely everything all the time. And when you are in a state of fear, when you're in a state of panic, you make bad decisions. You make terrible decisions, which is why 2/3 of boomers voted for fucking Brexit. Not all boomers. Not all boomers voted for Brexit. Not all boomers. Just like not all racists voted for Brexit. Oh, no, they did actually. No, they definitely fucking did. Okay, so anyway, Bannon, not just co-founded Cambridge Analytica, he also publicly promoted building a global alliance of nationalist leaders, including Viktor Orban, Farage, Putin's right-hand man in Eastern Europe, and whose party has received support. Whose party he's been in charge since 2010, was it? This is 15 years now, running Hungary with an iron fist, banning LGBT pride, banning just being a horrible twat, stopping everything that the EU wants to do with his fucking veto power, and this is why the veto power has to be taken away from countries in Europe. It's a ridiculous situation. It's got to be a majority. It could make it a 2/3 majority if you like, but it's got to be a fucking majority. It can't be a consensus, especially if we're going to expand and welcome in Montenegro and Albania and other countries into the EU over the next few years. May even include Ukraine, may even include Moldova. But yes, that Viktor Orban, his party has received support aligned with Kremlin interests. There's no two ways about it. He's very much up Putin's arse. And Farage repeatedly traveled to the US in 2016 to support Trump, who praised Putin, who refused to condemn Russia's actions in Ukraine, who benefited from Russian interference, according to US intelligence assessments. Their own intelligence assessments were like, yeah, he's fucking benefited from this. This is great. And Farage celebrated Trump's victory in Trump Tower bloody lobby, and he called himself, Trump called himself Mr. Brexit plus plus plus. And there you go. And then we got the internal warning here. The agent of Russian influence in 2017, Isabel Oakeshott, received emails showing Banks's multiple Russian contacts. Right, this is Isabel Oakeshott, privately educated, of course, who is currently the girlfriend of Richard Tice, privately educated, of course, who now lives in an Arab country because they don't like Western democracies. They don't like Western democratic traditions. They'd rather live, how things are done in the Emirates, a country where people get put in jail for kissing their partner in public. There you go, off to jail too, you mate. But yeah, public displays of affection. Throw them in. Throw them in jail. She wrote an internal assessment expressing concern that Banks could be an agent of influence for the Russian state. This is Oakeshott, who's part of the whole Brexit, fucking bad twats of Brexit. She's in close contact with Farage and later entered a relationship with Richard Tice, the co-founder of Leave.eu. Despite being alerted, no action was taken, no public discourse was made, and the story only emerged in 2018, a year later after investigative journalists obtained the emails. And then we've got the government's failure to investigate, which is fucking mind-blowing. The 2020 Russia report stated the government did not take action to investigate Russian interference in the Brexit referendum. Russian influence in UK politics became the new normal, and Farage has never been questioned under oath about Russian contacts, funding, or knowledge of interference. How has that been allowed to happen? How? If it was you, if it was me, they would have frog marched us down to the local busy station and asked us a bunch of questions about it. But because he is so part of the elite, so part of the establishment, like I say time and time again, if you went to the right school and you made the right contacts and you saw the right person wanking into the right hat and you've got that over them for the rest of their lives, there is another fucking law for you. And many, many laws do not apply to you. And if they do start to apply to you and you're forced to wear a mask in public, or you're not allowed to go to the pub, or you have to, not have that swanky bank account that you want, if you're ever treated like a pleb, like one of us, like one of the little people, you go fucking bananas. As we see from all the privately educated people who go bananas when suddenly, oh my God, does this mean I can't abuse women? Does this mean I can't commit acts of horrific sexual assault and rape? Oh my God, what's the world coming to? It's got all woke. You can't put me in jail, mate. I'm a Christian now. I've become a Christian. Look, I've got a Christmas tree and everything. 2 years of fun and frivolity. Cheers, Graham. Thank you very much, Julian Effectinov, for being a great member of the channel for 2 years. Thank you. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. Favorite Killing Joke album, Pandemonium. I love the word pandemonium. It's great. All the demons. Kirsty says, trundle around the Metro Centre today. Not a single adverse comment or horrible look at this 6'4" trans chick from anyone. It's only the GC freaks that obsess over us. Yeah, it is. It is. As we've often discussed, if you go back 10 years, no one cared. Everyone was just getting on with things. And then suddenly we were told to care by the oil companies and Rupert Murdoch. If only we had minds of our own, eh? If only we weren't so lazy and we could actually just think for ourselves. Imagine that, without having to take out a brain and go, Mr. Murdoch, would you mind doing all my thinking for me? And he goes, oh, here you go. It's a tiny brain to put in your head and you can just put it in there and I'll do all your thinking for you. Go put up a flag off a fucking lamppost, you dickhead. Go bring down the house prices in your area. Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for bringing down the house prices in the area, lads. Anyway, so yeah, government failure to investigate this is just mind-blowing. In the 2020 report, which it was difficult to get out of the government, obviously Boris Yeltsin, Johnson, whatever, tried to get rid of it. He tried to bury it. He tried to put his own man in the position so that it wouldn't actually get released. And what was it? Failing Grayling? Yeah, failing Grayling. He actually genuinely failed to win a rigged election as head of our security committee. And the Russia report got given out. It sat on Boris Johnson's table for months. I think over a year, actually, before it got released. And then it finally got released. And one of the things it said, they did interfere in the 2014 Scottish referendum, and they may have interfered in the 2015 general election, but we don't know if they interfered in 2016's referendum that really, really, really benefited Russia, because no one's bothered to investigate it. No one's fucking bothered to fucking investigate the fucking thing that they totally fucking did. Prove me wrong. Have an investigation. Go on. People sitting there going, oh, you know, Graham's gone a bit far today, accusing people of all this shit. Well, prove me wrong. Go on. Make me eat my own words. Oh, it wasn't Russia. Oh, okay then. All right. Oof. Anyway, Viper Scott, Alistair has just kindly gifted 5 Politics Social gift memberships. Woohoo! It must be Christmas. So thank you so much. You are absolutely awesome. That is very, very kind of you. We have Alrone is now a member. We've got Cathal is now a member. The Davinator. Not Lost Missionary. That was just a comment. And then Lisa B and Filthy Barbarian are all members now. Welcome. Welcome one and welcome all. You are awesome. And thank you so much to Viper Scott. That is really, really kind of you. And just a big shout out now to Ms. Paula Thomas for the £5 super chat. Thank you. If Badenoch had any sense, she'll call for a public inquiry into Badenoch. If Badenoch had any sense, she'll call for a public inquiry into Russian interference to give her party a clean start. Yeah, but would it give them a clean start? Would it? Or would it implicate them all for taking filthy Russian money? Just like Nathan Gill, who I haven't actually mentioned yet. We're getting to this. We're getting to Nathan fucking Gill. Anyway. So, we've got the pattern of alignment with Russian Kremlin objectives. Farage's actions consistently align with Russia's strategic aims, undermining the EU, weakening NATO unity, praising Putin as a leader. In 2014, he said Putin was the world leader he admired the most. I think that was when Nelson Mandela was still alive. I mean, he obviously wasn't president at that point, but wow. Opposing the support for Ukraine, something that he's done since the start, and promoting isolationist nationalism for the UK, which is only beneficial to Russia. Brexit is not beneficial to this country. It's costing us £100 billion a year to our economy. £100 billion knock every fucking year. That's 500 billion so far because we've had 5 years of fucking Brexit. Although, actually, it's gone on longer than that. Have a look at the charts for foreign direct investment, FDI. Go and have a look, right? Look for yourself. It's like this. 2016. Boom. That's the. I've just drawn it. I suppose it'd be this way for you, but like that's it. It just goes along the top. It's going up, going up, going up. Boo! Like a fucking roller coaster. Foreign direct investment. That is money that's been generated in some other fucker's country coming into our country. But apparently, according to Farage and his stupid twatty mates and the stupid fucking dickheads who voted for fucking Brexit, that's a bad thing. Oh no, foreign countries, we don't want your money because we're fucking dickheads. We're going to put sanctions on ourselves effectively. And it's going to cost us 100 billion. But you know, sovereignty. You can't put a price on sovereignty. I had someone outside the fucking Houses of Commons when we were protesting against Brexit and for the EU saying to me that they would rather eat grass. He pointed to College Green, right? I would rather eat grass, he said, than stay in the EU. Humans can't digest grass. Just saying. What a stupid twat. But there you go. So, pattern of alignment. Factual, documented, and uninterrupted support for Kremlin objectives from Nigel Farage. And what's the outcome? The damage to Britain. Brexit reduced trade. It damaged our GDP growth. We were on course to overtake Germany in our GDP. And I know GDP is not a fantastic measure of how well a country's doing, but it is a measure. Diplomatic influence, security cooperation. We don't have access to the fingerprints of criminals now running around Europe because we're no longer part of Europol. We don't have access to the fingerprints of people who have applied for asylum in another EU country and they've gone through the case and they've gone, no, you can't have asylum because we've gone through your case and we decided that on the basis of the evidence, you can't have asylum. We can't access that anymore. We can't access that information. So we have to do the whole process ourselves. And that costs fucking billions, you stupid twats. Not you watching this. I'm talking to the people who voted for this stupid fucking system because they were told to by the posh kids. Every single motherfucker that told you to vote for Brexit went to private school. That is not a coincidence. That is 100%. Count them, and I'll name a Brexiter, a famous prominent Brexiter: Dyson, Tim Martin, Farage, Tice, Wigmore, fucking Banks, Oak shit. They all went to private school. Gove, Rees-Mogg, Boris fucking Johnson, all went to fucking private school. If you can't see the link there, then you are being obtuse. Or being a dickhead. Probably being a dickhead. Jesus Christ, what happened to this country, eh? When did we just go, we don't have to think. Just take our brains out. We don't have to. We'll get some fucking foreign bastard. What's his name? Murdoch. We'll get him to do our thinking for us. Tell us what to think, Rupert. Tell us what to think. It's fucking pathetic. Honestly, and people go, you shouldn't think less of people who voted for Brexit. You know, they thought they did what they thought they were doing what was best. Oh, fuck that shit. I do think less of them because they made a terrible, terrible decision that has impacted the lives of everyone in this country. Everyone. Except the filthy fucking rich who told you to vote for it in the first place. Who have made fucking coin. And as I keep saying, they can still live and work anywhere in our own continent. We can't. We can't afford that. Fuck. Kirsty says, just a gentle reminder, bollocks to Brexit. Yeah. Yes. So look, the fact that the former Russian ambassador celebrated Britain as being on its knees. The ambassador to Britain celebrated that. You know, imagine if one of our lot from I don't know, the British ambassador to America said something about that about America. You know, we fucked them over. Do you think America would be like, oh yeah, that's all right? Imagine we did that to Saudi. Imagine we did that to Russia. We really fucked those Russians, didn't we, eh? Fucked them right up the wrong one. The Russians would be like, oh yeah, that's great. Well done, mate. I'm not going to say anything. Don't want to be rude. Don't want to be rude. Has anyone seen the movie Speak No Evil? The original, not the remake. The original, Speak No Evil. It's all about people who are too fucking polite to actually say something or do something about people treating them like shit. And it ends, sorry, spoilers for anyone who's not seen it. Put your fingers in your ears if you do want to see it. It ends with the couple who have had their child taken from them and they're about to be literally stoned to death and they are naked on the edge of a fucking quarry and they know they're going to die. And he says, why are you doing this to us? And the psychopath who's been tormenting them says, because you let us. And for my money, that is the most devastating line in film this fucking century. Why are you doing this to us? Because you let us. We've let these motherfuckers get away with it. And one of the reasons we let these motherfuckers get away, we're too fucking polite. And people like me, and people like you, right? We might not be polite about it. We might swear and pull our hair out and get fucking pissed off, right? Right? But we don't have the money to go after these motherfuckers. The people who do have the money aren't going to do it. They're fucking cowards. You're a fucking millionaire. You could fucking expose all this shit. Or you could pay other people to expose it for you. But they don't want to get involved because it might, it might blow up in their face or they might lose their money. It's always the way. Always the way. You want to get someone who is a lifelong Labour supporter and you want to turn them into a Tory voter overnight, you have them win the lottery. That is it. Because once they've got a bit of money behind them, like, oh, don't want to upset the apple cart. Oh, don't want to be down with the plebs again, in my terraced house and, having to go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning and have to get the bus. I don't want to go back to that. Fucking cowards. Fucking twat. Anyway, someone who's not a twat is Dot 4x4, who's been a member for 10 months. Santa Claus is on the dole. Oh, I'm UB40. Thank you very much there for being a member for 10 months there. Yes, the boomers, not all boomers, took every advantage handed to them by the greatest generation and pulled up the ladder behind them. Yes, they did. As a cohort, they fucking did. And I'm sorry that people get really upset when you point this out. They're like, I did it. And they're sitting in a house, normally, that has gone up in value from about £2.50 to about £250,000. Or maybe $500,000. I don't know. I remember when $1 million was a fuckload of money. I remember the first person to win Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was front page news. Now someone wins $1 million. It's like, it's Tuesday, isn't it? Anyway, Russia. What did Russia gain from its relationship with Farage? A fragmented EU, distracted Western leadership, slow and weaker responses to the military aggression from Russia. They knew this would happen. If Britain was still in the EU, we were a leader in the EU. We were one of the 3 senior partners in the EU, and people can quibble about that and say, oh, no, everyone was equal. They weren't. They fucking weren't, all right? Economically, militarily, we were nuclear power, okay? I'm sorry, but that's just to say, we might have had the same voting rights, technically, as Malta, but we could dictate EU policy moving forward in a way that Malta could never fucking dream of, okay? I'm just saying, right? That's no diss on Malta. It's a beautiful place. Go to Valletta. It is fucking gorgeous. Gozo, mwah, beautiful. Go there. It's awesome. My point is this, right? We as Britain, right? I know people watching this may not be from Britain, but we had a place at that table. And we gave it up for no fucking reason, right? Not only did that take an economic impact, massive economic impact, but also it reduced the ability of Europe to defend itself. And let's not forget that of the 32 members of NATO, 30 of them are in Europe. It's only fucking Canada and America that aren't in it. Any other members of NATO that aren't in Europe? And who was whinging? Who was saying, "Oh, I don't want a European army. Don't want a European." Who was saying that? Oh, it was someone called, I don't know, Nobed or something. Nobed Fromage. No, Nigel. That was his name. Nigel Farage. That was the guy saying, "Oh, you're going to have an EU army." And I'm like, okay, cool. We've already got NATO. What's your problem? Tim, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Looks like Pam Bondi will withhold selective parts of the Epstein files. Colour me surprised. Yeah, we're going to have to justify. They're going to have to justify every little bit, But anyway, that's another topic. So, on to Nathan Gill, the leader of Refuck and previously UKIP and the Brexit Party in Wales. Just been sentenced on Friday to 10 and a half years. 10 and a half years for being a fucking traitor. If I had my way, I'll put everyone who voted for Brexit in fucking jail for 10 and a half years for being a fucking traitor. But they had the dirt on this motherfucker. He took fucking money from the fucking Russians to spout Russian talking points in the European Parliament. We were paying his wages, by the way, while he was doing that out of our taxes. We were paying for that. We were paying him. And he took a few grand off the Russians. He was a cheap fucking date, wasn't he? And then what does Nigel Farage do? He says, oh, I barely know him. I barely know him. And all the pictures come out, just like he said about the Russian ambassador he never met. I don't even know who he is, really. And all these pictures come out of him, these clips of him saying, oh, he's a good, honest man. He's the greatest man I've ever met. He's a lovely man. I go round to his for a Sunday roast, and it's fucking amazing, and he's lovely, and he's such a lovely man. That Nathan Gill, who's working for the fucking Russians. And here we go. Have a look at the shit that Nathan Gill said, because he was being paid to say it, in the Russian parliament. And then compare and contrast with what Nigel Farage said in the European Parliament. Right? Fucking the same. They're fucking same. Just paraphrasing each other's fucking comments. What did Farage say? He said that NATO, we, our country, and our allies, right? Our military allies, were responsible for the invasion of Crimea. We brought it on ourselves. He said, oh, because the eastward expansion of NATO, it was all our fault. We're poking the Russian bear, he said. Kremlin talking points. Fuck you, Russia. You're not part of Europe. You're not part of our deal, right? You're the fucking wastelands, right? There's Europe, which is a continent. I know it's really a peninsula of Asia, but let's get into technicalities here. Fucking Europe, which ends, the border of Europe ends on the borders of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, all the way down to Ukraine. And then it goes round the Black Sea. And then it goes off to the little bit between Turkey and the bigger bit of Turkey. Turkey minor and Turkey major, right? Or Turkey, right? That's the line now. Not the fucking Ural Mountains. Fuck the Ural Mountains. The Urin Mountains, more like. Fucking pissants. Anyway, the wastelands. Europe, Asia, wastelands. Fucking wastelands. Fucking places where nothing fucking grows because it's all fucking covered in ice. Ice and gobshites. Anyway, so it's Russia. Modern fucking Russia. And there's this little twat, this little gobshite, Nigel Farage, doing everything in his power to further Russia's interests. At our expense. Our expense. Do you get it? Do you get it? It was our expense. Motherfucker. George only, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Remember, many trade unionists advocated voting Remain. Yes, they did. But some gobshites didn't, because, for Diz Confetti, yay! From Viper Scott, we need two more super chats to come in the next 17 minutes. I think we should do that. And we'll all have cake. So, Nathan Gill, 10.5 years, right? This should be the trigger. If nothing else, this should be the trigger that we have a fucking full-on investigation into Russian meddling in our democracy. Because I guarantee there will be a smoking gun somewhere that we can nail that Farage creep on and we can get him sent away. Get that motherfucker in jail. Get him in jail, right? Get him in jail for a long fucking time. Give him 25 fucking years. Take all his money off him, distribute it amongst, trans charities. Give it to people who fucking need it. He doesn't fucking need it, the dirty bastard. He won't need it in jail. And do you know what? When he goes to jail, that's it. The Brexit Party or UKIP or fucking refuck or whatever he's calling himself today, it collapses. It's a personality cult built around that cunt. A personality cunt, if you like. That vile, disgusting, bollock-faced foghorn of ignorance that people follow because they're so fucking lazy they can't even be bothered to think for themselves. Imagine being that lazy. Imagine being that. That's not even getting off the couch. That's another fucking level of laziness. I can't be bothered to think. It takes no physical exertion whatsoever. I just can't. I want someone else to do my thinking for me. Imagine being that cooked. Imagine being that just submissive. Imagine just being that weak. Imagine just not having your own will to think. That is, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying that there are 77 million Americans who are like that. It's terrifying that there are 17 million Brits who are like that, who went, no, I won't think for myself. I'll just get Vladimir and Murdoch and Farage to do all my thinking for me. I'll just get them to do it. Because, thinking makes my head hurt. Thinking makes my head hurt. Got some good news. I think, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken, we've just had Confetti. Thank you very much to the Dark 4x4 for the £2 contribution to the Confetti Fund. And we've also got George only saying, but some trade unions advocated leaving. Yes, they did. RMT union did. And Unite did as well, motherfuckers. But thank you very much, George, for the £2 super chat. And I am going to now release the confetti! We did it! We did it! We did it together. You and me. Fucking boom. Smashed it out the park. Smashed it, we did. Smashed it. So much censorship on this fucking channel, says Jared Thomas. Yeah, fucking so much fucking censorship. Bastard. Not let me say what I want to say. It's all right. You can say what you can say what you think. You can get someone else who's getting paid to say what you think, to write it on the front cover of all the British newspapers. that are owned by foreign billionaires, that you know, they'll say all the things that you want them to say. Like, oh, it's all the fault of foreigners. Oh, it's all the fault of single mums. Oh, it's all the fault of the fucking Irish. Yeah. They're there. It's fine. There's a million other channels on YouTube, you know, ones that are run by people who, if they were Muslim, we would call them mad mullahs. And they advocate all the things that they advocate for in the Middle East, which is generally, you know, shitting on the rights of minorities and women. It's a bit difficult being a minority in the Middle East. It really is. Some of the stories that I heard when I was over there, right? I was in Kuwait for 6 weeks. I was in Dubai for over a month. I was in Saudi Arabia. Went to Jeddah, Dubai. Sorry, not Dubai. Riyadh. I was in Oman. I was in Oman for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think. Bloody hell! You know, the stories I heard about what happened to people who happened to be the wrong people, the wrong type of person in the wrong place at the wrong time, was horrific. Absolutely fucking horrific. And that's the world that they want to bring the Middle East. They want to bring that the Arab mentality to the UK. And you got all these people who are like going, oh, I don't want halal. I don't want Sharia law. And it's like, but you want to be Saudi Arabia? I think they have Sharia law in Saudi Arabia. I'm just saying, if you don't want it, then maybe, I don't know, step back away from the petrol fucking car powered by disgusting foreign toxic slime, nightmare fuel that's destroying our environment, that's killing our children in this country right now. Toxic, nasty, black slime that we pump out the ground, we bring over here, we fucking burn it. We spread it out all over the landscape, don't we, for our roads? Spread it all out. Look at that slime. People have it for their driveway. They go, oh, look at me tarmac slime. Oh, it's solidified now. It's all black and horrible. Yeah. People go, oh, it's lovely, that. Lovely bit of black slime. Love that. Spread it out. Nice neatly. Have these cars that just run up and down the bastard fucking slime. Powered by the bastard slime. Yeah, what a great system. If only we could have some kind of, I don't know, some British power that we made ourselves through all the wind that we have. 40% of all the available wind power in the whole continent of Europe is around the British Isles. 40 fucking percent. You could power the whole fucking country off that. We could power half of fucking Europe off that. Throw in some solar panels, put in a couple of nuclear power stations. I don't give a fuck. You know, just not oil. You know, I don't want to be reliant on my energy needs of these stupid motherfucking countries like Russia, who can make our energy bills double overnight by simply invading their fucking neighbour. Why? Where's the sovereignty in that, eh? You turn up to work, what? And hang on, the petrol price has gone up to £1.79. What the fuck? How has it gone up that much? It's gone up 50%. Yeah, well, you see, Russia invaded Ukraine yesterday, so now you've got to pay more to get into work. So now that your take-home pay is going to be less proportionately because you know, obviously you're going to have to spend more getting into work to get your money. Putin did that because he controls our fucking energy. And we have a stupid system where you pay the unit cost of gas is the energy price that you pay, even though the unit cost of wind power and solar is fucking buttons. And we will be paying energy bills of 50 quid a fucking year. 50 quid a year instead of 1,750 fucking quid. If we all had solar panels on our roofs, if we all had fucking a wind turbine down the road, it will cost the fucking sum of fuck all. Because once you plug those bad boys in, they don't need any extra stuff. They don't need any extra material like internal combustion engines do, or a gas-powered fucking power plant does. Constantly needs new material all the fucking time. Every day, thousands and thousands of pounds, millions of pounds over the course of a year of coal, of gas, of fucking oil. Burn the bastard. And you've got to you've got to put it in the, what is it, fractal distillation? What is it? The big oil refineries. Like in Ellesmere Port, just in Merseyside. Yeah, fucking, oh man, Jesus. I suppose it's in Cheshire now, isn't it, technically? Ellesmere Port in Cheshire. Nice place, lovely. Look at it. It's, you know, it looks like fucking Blade Runner. Lovely. I love what you've done with the place there. You look out across the Mersey, you see the refinery there, yeah, and then the majestic mountains of Wales in the distance, and you're like, oh, it's such a shame that we don't have, I don't know, an uninterrupted view of the hills. But you know, if they tried to take away that refinery and put some wind turbines there, I'd go fucking crazy. I'll go nuts. Yeah. Fracturing towers. There's breakthroughs in solar power efficiency too recently. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter that there's the technology's been there for ages. We should be leading the way. Britain should be leading the way, and we're not. We're following like a little dog. Woof, woof, woof. What are you doing, America? Can we follow you? Woof, woof, woof. Oh, what are you doing, Russia? Can we follow you? Woof, woof, woof. What? Is that Saudi Arabia? Oh, can we tell us what to think, Saudi Arabia? Woof, woof, woof. It's pathetic. This isn't the country that my grandfather fought for in World War II. He launched torpedoes against Nazis. He didn't placate them. He didn't facilitate them. He didn't say, oh, well, you know, I mean, the Nazis are obviously going to, you know, support the far right, but, you know, not all people who support the far right are Nazis, you know. Fuck that shit. If you vote for this shit, you're a fucking Nazi. My granddad would have fired a fucking torpedo at you and got a medal for it. Motherfuckers. Anyway, someone who's not a motherfucker is Cummy from Wales. Hello, Cummy. Ironic as England is our Russia, Putin, thieving. Yeah, there's argument to be made for that, my friend, over in the God's own country, Wales. And yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a way of pulling you know, Wales, making it more separate to the rest of the UK in my lifetime. But, you know, if that happens, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight to keep hold of Wales if the good people of Wales want to fucking leave. If the good people of Scotland want to leave. Although I do think that the people of Scotland have a slightly better case than the people of Wales because they didn't vote for fucking Brexit, did they? Although I am reliably told that the people who voted for Brexit in Wales were all the English people who live in Wales. So that might well be the case. But the fact that England and Wales dragged Northern Ireland and Scotland out of the EU against their will is something that I find unforgivable. As an English person. The sooner Scotland gets independence, the better. England is constantly dragging us down to their level. Without their shit, we'll rise a proud independent nation again and prosper. Perhaps you will, Peter Music. But I don't know if that's the thing that we should all be joining forces against at the moment. I think that is something that is more likely to happen if we get rid of Farage and his ilk. We regulate the fucking newspapers, so these foreign gobshites like Nigel, what's his name, Murdoch, right? How is he still alive? How Murdoch, has so much influence over our political discourse in this country is fucking disgusting. End that, right? And then, you know, and not then, at the same time, we need to tackle the climate emergency. We need to fucking tackle that. And at that point, yeah, I mean, we can do the other stuff that we'd like to do. But you've got to get people on side. You've got to get people on side. And while the billionaires own the newspapers and control the means of communication, while the billionaires own the social media platforms, and they're not going to say tax the billionaires, are they? We're in trouble, okay? And until we the first step on the road to Welsh independence and to Scottish independence and the reunification of Ireland is putting Nigel Farage in jail. I think. So come on. I'll put the link into the description of this, but I'm going to put it again in the chat here. I'm coming to the end of the show. Please tap on that link, sign the petition. Let's get it up to 100,000 signatures, and then it'll be debated in Parliament. And there are a lot of MPs who would rather like to see an independent investigation into what the fuck Russia has been doing to our country, because I'm telling you now, the outcome of that investigation will be very, very telling. That's my opinion on that. That's not counting. That's just my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to bugger off now and have some sushi because it's Sunday. So we're having Sunday sushi. Normally I make a roast, but because I had to do the Sunday sermon a bit later today, I've not made a roast today. So the girls have been in the kitchen all this time that I've been talking to you, rolling sushi. So I'm gonna eat some. It's gonna be great. Bit of soy sauce, bit of wasabi, Hey, what did Sushi A say to Sushi B? Wasabi! Oh, there it is. That was taking too long, wasn't it? Okay, right. I'm definitely going now. Conry says, the first step towards our independence is when England prevents us from the ability of holding our own referendums. This is no union. It is a prison. Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying that the people on the right are going to be less willing to even go in any kind of direction towards helping people in Scotland and people in Wales and Northern Ireland achieve independence from England. They are less likely to help out with that. It was Labour who brought in the Welsh Assembly, now the Senate. They brought in the Scottish Parliament back after 200 years, and so the Tories ain't going to do that. The Tories aren't interested at all in distributing political power. They want it all concentrated amongst the very rich motherfuckers of Mayfair. Anyway, Talk Madia, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Woohoo! Put Farage in number 10 and guarantee independence. No, it doesn't work like that, honestly. We thought that with Brexit. Talk Madia. We thought that, Brexit happens and it's going to be really shit, which it is, and that's going to make the people of Scotland go, fuck this shit, we're going to be independent now. And actually, it's gone the other way. So yeah, don't risk that. Don't for a moment think that if you make people's lives worse, then they will automatically wake up and the scales will fall from their eyes. It doesn't work. It's a myth. It's a myth. Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Chat no live from Tansky, folks. No live from Tansky. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, I'll have to write to him and find out what's happening. Oh, do you know what? I posted a picture in the Politics Social WhatsApp group of me and a mate of mine on the top floor of the World Trade Center, and I said, "This is a picture that can never be recreated because it's from the top of the World Trade Center." And Aid put, "Is that because you're bald now?" Fuck you, Aid, bastard. Anyway, dirty bastard. Okay, so apparently no live from Tansky tonight. I don't know why that is, but yeah, me. Right, I'm gonna head off now. So I will take. I'll bid you adieu. If you would like to do us a little tiny favor before you go, you know what I'm gonna say. Please give this video a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. I can't stress this enough. Our subscriber numbers have been going down, and there's a lot of people who watch the videos who aren't subscribed. I can see your numbers. I don't know who you are, but I can see the numbers are like subscribers watching and non-subscribers watching. About 50% of the people watching this are not subscribed. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you press the bell notification icon and I change the time of something like I did today, you'll get a notification. If you don't press it, you won't get a notification. That's fine. I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to make a little buzz happen in your pocket. Anyway, so thank you very much for joining us this evening while we tour into Nigel Farage and his Russian connections. The bastard. And all that's left to say is I will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Morning Brew. And until then, thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.